we'll go ahead and get into it now that we've gotten the housekeeping taken care of. There's a lot going on in the golf world right now. As
Whew.
you can imagine, the golf world, this entire year, really since, April, May, has been disrupted by the Live Golf League. And there's been, a ton of pro players going, ton of big names going, and then it's looking like Cam Smith is going. So that's a huge hit to the PGA Tour. And what that means is that they have to take Live Golf a little more seriously than they were before. And that led to 22 of the top PGA Tour players getting together with the one, the only, the greatest of all time, Tiger Woods, flying in to meet with everybody ahead of the FedEx Cup playoffs round two. And man, I mean, I guess we should have expected it. Like the way that Tiger's been about Live Golf and about the PGA Tour, like we should have expected maybe this coming. But it's a huge deal when the guy that built what is here today comes in and says, "All right, guys, we got to get together and we got to take this Live Golf thing serious. And what are we going to do that?"
Yeah, I mean, I think he kind of understands the tradition aspect of it. Jack and Arnold, they really turned the page, in their time as far as getting this league or this tour going. And for all that it's done for Tiger, I think he understands that, he's going to give back, and his giving back is making sure that the tour isn't going anywhere.
Yep. And early on, so they had the conversation, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday of the week going into the BMW Championship. And the first couple of days of media following that were, we don't know what happened. We just know that these were the 22 players that got together. It was a lot of big names. I don't have the full list in front of me, but we're talking Rory, we're talking Ricky Fowler, we're talking Scotty, Will Zalatoris, guys of that nature, all meeting and getting together and saying, what are we going to do to combat this? And it was really tight lipped until what, Sunday or Monday of this week, where all of a
Pretty
sudden it
close.
comes out and it says, actually, we are thinking about doing a tour within the tour and doing 18 tournaments, 60 players only, and $20 million purses for those tournaments. Meanwhile, the PGA Tour goes on as normally scheduled around that. And they're kind of more of a lower level tier. Think of the TPC, or sorry, think of the John Deere, think of the Barbasol, think of tournaments like 3M, those tournaments that don't necessarily have the biggest draws of top talent, but more of, you have the guys fighting to keep their tour card to score FedEx Cup points and get into the top 60. But that's going to be kind of a supplement. It's going to be more of, if you want to see the top talent play, you're going to watch the majors and you're going to watch these 18 events. Now, none of this is official. This is just what the Jay Monahan and the PGA Tour weren't directly involved in this conversation, although they knew it was going on and they consulted Jay afterwards. This was more of, what do the players envision, and how do they see PGA Tour combating what is Live Golf? Because Live Golf is more money. It is, not playing tournaments like the John Deere, like the Barbasol, and it's more of, you play, 14 tournaments throughout the year. The talent isn't quite there yet, but it could get there, and you're playing for a lot more money, and that's the biggest thing to come out of it. So Caleb, I want to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the tour within the tour? Uh, Thoughts from Rory and Tiger and 20 other top players.
Yeah, so I know one of the aspects of that meeting was, they were talking about how some of the bigger names need to coordinate better, as far as, the same playing schedule, which I 100% agree with. Like, you know, to get the best product possible, you want to have a very competitive field. So, you want to make sure that, your top guys are playing. And in the years past, we haven't seen all of these tournaments have that same feel to it. Like you said, the 3M Open, like, was Tony Finau the biggest name in that one? You had you had your mid-major guys for sure, but none of the big names that really draw people in. So coming out and saying, "Hey, we need to do a better job of, you know, coordinating our schedules together," I think is a huge step. Now, like I've seen a lot of things on Twitter, like from the Live accounts that are talking about, "Oh, well, I thought you guys didn't want to be like Live or whatever." Like, I don't necessarily think that they're trying to copycat by any means. Now, shortened versions of the schedule or whatever, I can see where, you could say that. And I don't have a problem saying that. I get, some of these guys don't want to play all the time, and that's fine. But like, that some of the bigger names, let's make sure that we all play the same shorter ones, or, let's make them worth more, or, that kind of thing where, we've said it from the beginning, like competition in any form is good. And I think, we're going to see the best version of the PGA Tour going forward because of what we're seeing with Live. And, I'm not to say like this isn't, or that Live is all terrible. Like I do find things that some of the things that they're doing, like I can get on board with. Now, like the shotgun start, I'm not a huge fan of or whatever, but, you know, things like that you can get around and you can work your way in, to the tour itself, and find ways to make it better. And I think you know that was the biggest takeaway that I got from the meeting. Apart from some of the names, like I was surprised that some of those guys were there. Some of those guys like showed up. Cameron Young was rumored to be there. He was rumored to go to Live next. Like Joaquin Neiman, some of those. Adam Scott was there, that kind of deal where, it was all but a done deal a few weeks ago that there was going to be an all Australian team.
Right.
Shane Lowry, like some of those guys I'm surprised were there. But I mean, at the same time, I think it's good that they were there. So,
Yeah.
I think it was really good for everybody to come together and be like, listen, we do need to do a better job of playing the same schedule because, we're lacking in some areas, and that's where the draw is for Live. So if we want to keep these viewers, we all need to play together. And I think that was something that really stuck out to me.
For sure. Yeah, I think it was I'm going to almost copy everything you said, but also kind of provide my own commentary on it where it's like this was finally this is the response, right? And it's not official, but this was the response to Live. Before it was kind of treated like, oh, it's not going to work. They're not going to be able to get it. And then they finally got punched in the mouth with Cam Smith rumored to go. And I mean, it's all but official that he's going to that. And he's the open champion. He was at, going into the FedEx Cup playoffs, he was the number 2 golfer right behind Scotty Scheffler. And he's young. The narrative before was that Live Golf is has-beens, and we said it's guys that just they're no longer competing, and then now they're rumoring of getting guys like Cam Smith and his stature, and they're gonna have that type of talent on there. And now you finally say, okay, we for so long we've had this spread out schedule where sometimes you'll see Justin Thomas, but you're not going to see Rory, or sometimes you'll see Scotty Scheffler, but you're not going to see, Zalatoris. Like it's been so, it's just been a little bit diluted where it's like you have maybe a top player or two, and then it's just a bunch of nobodies. Which, no offense, like you guys have an opportunity on the PGA Tour to become stars, and it will happen. Look at Tom Kim, look at Cameron Young, guys like that have already started to become stars and they're young. Like you have those opportunities on the PGA Tour, and this is we want the top players, and we want to compete directly with Live Golf and show you that we still have the top talent, and that we that we can still market this to the average golfer, to the average golf fan. Because what they're able to do with this is, we're talking about major championship level fields now, 18 times a year on the PGA
Right.
Tour, which means marketability. They're going to be able to get better TV deals, which means that they can increase purses. And they're going to, you talk about this being on ESPN Plus and CBS while Live is on YouTube. Like this is a true punch back to Live Golf. That
Yeah.
is, we are taking you serious and we are going to destroy you. if and we're going to at least take action to try to destroy you in that sense. So I love it. I think that it really the tour within the tour. What really happens with this is that it becomes the PGA Tour, and then it becomes the PGA Tour feeder league. Like it's kind of like the farm teams and the MLB, where it's like this is some of those events are going to turn into what it would be like for we don't have an MLB baseball team here in Indiana, so we go to the AAA. I think they're the Pittsburgh Pirates affiliates,
Mm-hmm.
Indianapolis Indians. We go to those games. It's enjoyable. But
Yeah.
if I'm gonna, if I'm gonna go watch, real professional baseball, I would go to Cincinnati or go to Chicago or St. Louis, something like that. And that's what this is turning into. So I kind of don't like that aspect of it, but you got to start
Right.
somewhere. And I think this is finally a time where Caleb and I and all you below average golfers can look and say, okay, these are the 18 tournaments that we're going to watch on the PGA Tour because we want to see the top talent, and then we have the four majors. So I like it, and the money is intriguing, I'm sure, and that's going to keep guys on PGA Tour because now they have an opportunity to fight for the purses that Live Golf is getting. They don't necessarily have the guaranteed money yet, but that's okay. I think for a lot of guys, especially the top guys, they're going to be just fine fighting for the bigger purses with the proposed changes from Rory, Tiger, and some of the top players.
Yeah, and like you said, it's you're wanting to get into that top 60 group, right? Like, it's now you're not just playing your way into majors. Now you're not just playing your way into the FedEx Cup. Like you want to be the best. And I think that's also, something that's going to be a good thing that comes out of this is you're going to see guys like they really want to win. Like they really
Yep.
want to get in there. And it's not for, the bonus money that your team wins. It's for
Yeah.
like yourself. It's for your pride. It's for, that's why I love the FedEx Cup like the whole year. Like I really started paying attention to it probably towards the back end of the year, which not great for a golf fan, but like, you get closer to it, like storylines develop. And, at the beginning of the year, like shortly after, or we'll call it right before the Waste Management or the WM Open, like I had no idea who Thigala was. I
Yeah.
knew nothing about him at Pepperdine, like nothing like that. And now he's number 28
Yeah.
because he played his tail off in the
Yep.
last 2 weeks. I mean, look at what he did on Sunday. I mean, he had 4 holes left and he needed to do something and he birdied like 3 of them. And
Mm-hmm.
then on the 18th, he had a nasty shot into the green and somehow got it on there and made his 7-8 footer for par to kind of solidify. I mean, it was going to be close based on what other guys did, but like he earned that spot. Like that's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
props to everybody that made it to the final 30 or whatever, and props to whoever the winner is going to be. But, think of how much his life changed by earning a spot in the top 30. And like, you just can't get that from Live like that. It's not an argument type of thing. Like you can't because like they don't have that kind of system. And, that's if that's one of their polls is that, everybody makes their money, then whatever. But, for somebody that is competitive, I like the aspect of, you got to earn it. And,
Yep.
Props to Thigala for earning it. And his post round presser was awesome where, they were asking him about like, were you nervous? And he was like, heck yeah, I was nervous.
Yeah.
Like I was nervous I was so nervous that I was shaking.
Right.
And then they ask him like, well, how did you deal with that? And he's like, well, I put it into perspective where like having the ability to be nervous is good. And,
Yeah.
he said that that's what he tells his people around him that like, it's a privilege to be nervous. Like, you have to turn it on. And, I loved it. I'm a fan of Thigala now based on, how he's held himself this year. He's in the running for rookie of the year.
Yep.
Cam Young was great, absolutely, but I think I would give my nod to Thigala.
Yep.
So yeah, I just, the storylines that come from the top 30 is just so much better than almost the tournament itself.
Oh,
And like
for
I was
sure.
telling you, like on Saturday, I was watching the broadcast, and they showed like the lines from like spot number, I think they said from spot like 25, 26 down to 32, changed 400 times in a matter of 20 minutes, just because, guys bogeyed, guys birdied, guys parred. Like, you're not going to get that at any other tournament. And like, it really makes you think like, okay, his Waste Management Open finish, you know, second place, like, had he not had that, had he not been, or had he been third, he probably wouldn't be in the top 30.
Yeah.
So, I love every bit of, you have to earn your way. Um, and that's probably why I'll never be a professional golfer, is like, I don't know if I can handle that pressure, to be
Yeah.
completely honest. Like, I just don't think I could do it. So, props to all those guys out there for getting in the top 30. Um, it's nice that they have the chance, but at the same time, it's like they earn their right to be there. So
Hmm.
I'm proud of all those guys for sure.
Absolutely. And I think like with what you're saying is that live golf has a place in the golf world for now, right? Like I think that I don't know how sustainable it is and I don't know if their model is going to shift, but it does have a place in the golf community, and it's already forcing the PGA Tour to make changes, which is good. Competition is good for business, for podcasts, like whatever. Like
Yeah.
we go listen to a podcast, and it makes Caleb and I want to be better at being podcast hosts. But either way, Live Golf it's gonna have its fans, it's gonna have all of that. But Live Golf, as it stands today, is not going to be able to create the narratives that the PGA Tour has. And I think even with these changes, you're going to have the regular PGA Tour schedule where it's guys like the Gala, Cam Young, guys of that nature getting their way into the top 60. And outside of that, you get to see the top players. And it's just going to be a very entertaining schedule if they move to this. I really hope that this wasn't just proposed and dangled in front of the golf fans and then just out
Right.
of nowhere. Like Tiger Woods needs to become the commissioner of the PGA Tour because I feel
Well,
like
and
that is
from
the
that
one
meeting,
way to get him
Rory
in.
said it. There was an alpha in that room. Everybody knew it, and everybody knew exactly who it was. And so, I'm hoping that carries over. Maybe once his playing days are over, like, hey,
Well,
Jay, you've done a very nice job. I'll take it from here.
I mean his PGA Tour playing days are over at this point. Like he might get back into some of the tournaments, and maybe with this proposed schedule, he could be the part of some of these 18 tournaments throughout the year. I don't think he's ready, and I don't know if he'll ever be back to a place where he can be there for 18 tournaments in the year. My
Right.
my proposal to the PGA Tour is have a commissioner that is, have kind of the CEO of the PGA Tour and have the CEO of the tour within the tour, and make that CEO of the tour within the tour Tiger Woods for now, and then
Yeah.
let him, maybe he becomes the next commissioner. I don't know how that all works, but maybe he becomes the commissioner of the entire thing down the road when he finally wants to hang it up. But let these guys go off and do their thing under the PGA Tour umbrella, revolutionize the game, and you can keep your spot, Jay. You can stay with the overall PGA Tour vision and coordinate all the other 36 or however many events that go on outside of this proposed schedule. And that's my proposal, is let Tiger take this thing over, because he's a visionary. He is golf. He is the needle. Let him be the face of this, and it's
Yeah.
Tiger and Greg Norman going face to face. I wonder who's going to win that battle. Like,
Right.
let's be real. So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, yeah. If anything, like, I think that's the one thing that, you know, some of these commissioners, they don't, in major sports, like, they just don't understand because they haven't been there. Like,
Yep.
you know, Rob Manfred in MLB is a terrible, terrible commissioner. Like,
Right.
at some points during the year, I really think like, okay, is this guy trying to like destroy baseball? Like that kind of thing. Like, you know, and Jay Monahan's been, for all that we know, he's been pretty good this whole time since he took over. But, having somebody that's been there, that walks the grounds of the tournament in and out, like, I just think that's an asset that you can't overlook.
Yeah.
And, to have the needle as, commissioner would be just super helpful because, he would know how to grow the game from what he's seen.
Mhm.
Think like if LeBron takes over Adam Silver's spot, like you can't tell me that the NBA wouldn't grow even more just
Right.
because, people want to see what he does. Like it is what it is. Like, I don't know. I just think the sooner you can get Tiger in a leadership role on the tour officially, the better it will be for some of these young guys that, for us, like growing up, we watch Tiger every week.
Mhm.
Like it was incredible. I saw a stat from Lou that said, Tiger's all-time win percentage is, I think he said 23%, and the average 6-footer made on tour is like only 22%. So Tiger's like winning more than guys are making 6-footers. Like
That's
that
insane.
is incredible. Like I don't know. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I don't know if Tiger would have, maybe he does, but I don't know if he has like interest in being the commissioner. But I think being a leader specifically of this new tour fits him so well because he is the guy that came and got these top guys together and said, all right, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
I don't want you guys to ruin what I've built, and you guys don't want to ruin what I've built. So let's put together a plan and then just let him execute on that plan. He is an
Yeah.
established enough business person at this point. He is the needle. Like it makes complete sense for him to do that. And then if eventually he wants to take over the entire PGA tour, go for it. But I think it all starts with being the leader of the tour within the tour and launching that and being
Yeah.
explicit partners with PGA Tour. Like these guys aren't leaving. This isn't a separate thing. This is still a part of it. They want to grow the tour, but this is the new league within the league. So,
Right.
um, love the idea. Looking forward to it. And again, please do not just dangle this in front of us.
Right.
And I wonder, part of me wonders because they met with Jay, I think, after the fact. So I think they met on Tuesday. I believe they met with Jay on Wednesday. And part of me wonders because they were really tight lipped about everything. I wonder if they are now releasing this to get the reaction and to show Jay because he might have been a little iffy on it, like, I don't know, guys. And then they're like, all right, we're gonna tell the press. We're gonna tell No Laying Up and Golf Digest and the Fire Pit Collective. Like, we're gonna tell all these sources the idea that we had, and you'll see their reaction and you'll see why we're right. And
Yeah.
so far they're proving themselves right if my tinfoil hat prediction is true.
Right. Yeah,
So
I'm with you. I
that might be the case, or they were just like, let's let this breathe through the BMW championship and then we'll release it and still get everybody's opinion on it because everybody was pretty quiet about it until then. So
yeah.
that's my theory on the whole situation. But we'll see, and we'll keep updated. The other thing that came out of the meeting, which was interesting, was the that Tiger and Rory had talked about taking a new kind of approach to the game of golf and doing almost like a stadium tour with technology. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere today, it's announced that they're they're behind this new venture called Tomorrow Golf or Tomorrow Sports or something
Sports
along that
group.
nature. And it's Tiger and Rory, and they are the faces of this. And it's basically we are taking a unique one day competitions to these stadiums, and there's not a lot of details around it. So, Caleb, I wanted to get your thoughts. What do you think this is all about, and what's your take on it?
Yeah, so like I think first thing that comes to my mind is like, you know, some of these stadiums do like the baseball stadiums like in October or after the season's over, like they open up to where you can, hit balls into the outfield from different parts of, the stands. Like I think that's where my mind first goes. we have the links at Victory Field for, for the Indians where, after the season's over, I think they have 3 holes set up. They have maybe 6 or 9, whatever it is. But it's different parts of the concourse that you hit from, and then it's kind of like a Top Golf feel. Um, so with how Top Golf is growing, I could see something where they definitely do, like, stadium tours where, all right, we're gonna stand, or we're on top of the dugout, or we're in the corner of the end zone trying to hit it through the uprights, or just changing like your typical round of golf, or typical golf competition. um I forget what TV show it is or was, but they had all kinds of different challenges for the players that were competing. And it was kind of like a Survivor, but in golf, where there's the flop challenge where they take turns, they move the wall closer and closer, whoever gets it gets points, or they stick the glass wall with different panes in it, 50 yards out, and whoever can break the most panes. Like, I think we're going to see a Top Golf ish style come out of this. And I'm excited for it. That'll,
Yeah.
if not anything more than drawing people to the one day tournaments or whatever it is. Like, you're still getting more eyes on the game, and you're
Hmm.
getting more eyes on the game that's kind of like untraditional, where it's not as much of the old guy get off my lawn, but it's like a,
Right.
hey, this isn't what you think it is. Like, golf is fun. Like, it really is. So get out there and play. And
Well, it's
I think
just a
that's what this will happen.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. It's going to be a Top Golf type thing, or just different competitions that you can do on a 100-yard football field, or clearly there's not going to be a lot of long drive competitions or things like that, because that's
Right.
just depending on where you're at, maybe you could do it at a baseball stadium, just to hit it out of the park or whatever. But you're not going to be able to accomplish something like that. But there are going to be competitions that you can do, and I think, for us in Indiana, like, there used to be a tournament here or there that went through from the PGA Tour, but our only opportunity to go see Tiger, go see Rory, go see even just a random PGA Tour event is to go to Ohio, to go to Illinois, to go down to Kentucky. Like, we don't have the options here, and there's plenty of states across the US that have that same experience, or
Yeah.
they just don't have the money necessarily to buy a PGA Tour ticket. And this is
Yeah.
an opportunity to go, all right, we're going to go to Victory Field on a Friday evening for 2 hours, instead of go stand around on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and stand around for 4 hours and see a couple
Yeah.
golf shots, maybe see John Rahm get a hole in one, something like that. But
Yeah.
this is going to be, like you said, it's going to reach a new audience, and this is going to be available to more people, and it's going to introduce them to these players. It's going to market them even bigger, and it's going to introduce more people to the game of golf and to the PGA Tour specifically, because based on everything and based on the two people running this, it's going to be PGA Tour people and stars that are going to
Yeah.
be a part of this tour that happens, kind of made for TV stadium tour events. So I think it's really intriguing. I'm
Hmm.
excited about it, specifically, selfishly, because again, I would have to travel if I want to go see a PGA Tour event or see any of these guys, and I don't have that opportunity too often. So, hoping that they come to Lucas Oil Stadium and do something like that, and that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
That the house that Peyton built, the house that Pat McAfee built,
yes,
coming in here, hitting balls off the Bud Light party zone,
right,
like, who can get it closest to the logo, who can get it closest to, the 30-yard marker. Like, I think there's a lot of potential for them to expand in ways that even you and I aren't thinking, that are going to
hmm,
really like draw in a crowd. And, you know, maybe there isn't as big of an audience in person, but you're going to get that extra audience online because,
right,
even if it is a long drive contest in the simulator, like, I would probably watch to see,
for sure.
John Rahm has that 3/4 swing, but he can still hit it, a country mile. So,
Yep.
let him get in the simulator, get warmed up, and then just crack one. Or, can Tiger still do it without hurting himself? But, can he still keep up with those guys?
Right.
Like, I would love to see, a long drive competition from some of the biggest names that you're not going to get those guys at a long drive competition. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
think this is your way to do it, to where it's a smaller event, it's technology based, to where yes they can try, yes they can try hard, but at the same time, like, they're not gonna go out there for 40 seconds and rattle off a ton of 400-yard drives that are
right.
200 yards off the
Yeah, this
fairway or
isn't
whatever
gonna
it is.
be this isn't gonna be Kyle Berkshire, which love Kyle
Right.
Berkshire and his
Oh
videos,
yeah.
but this is gonna be more of like, okay, 350, 360-yard drives, not the 400 and
Yeah,
440-yard drives that you see on some of the long
exactly.
drive. But it's just gonna be a way that these are the PGA Tour players. These are the stars that you're supposed to love. This is your LeBron James. This is your Tom Brady. This is your, these are your guys, and this is who you buy into. They're going to be selling merch. They're going to be selling, things like that. Like, it's just a new
Yeah.
way. Especially, I would say, everybody's the way that the world is trending with streaming, with with YouTube, with podcasts, whatever, is people like things on demand and they have a shorter attention span. If
Yeah.
you don't watch a PGA Tour event going on during the day, sure, you can rewatch it, but everything's already out there. Like, that's just the
Right.
nature of live sports. But when you put it in this, easy to digest, and there is a competition aspect to it, competitive aspect to it, but it's just a different. It's not John Rahm shot 6 under. It's John Rahm did this amazing shot. Come watch it. Like, it's just a
Yeah.
pretty cool. It's a pretty cool concept, and I'm glad that the two guys behind it are Tiger and Rory, and that's just only gonna take this thing a lot further than if the below average golfers had this idea.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so keep your eye out for that. A lot of changes coming, and it's spearheaded by Tiger Woods, which, again, the needle. Like, we so thankful for Tiger Woods being a part of this, and not
Yeah.
taking the ridiculous amount of money that Greg Norman might be denying that he offered. But anyways, all right, FedEx Cup, it finishes up this weekend. The Tour Championship, it's the top 30 players. There's advantages, there's disadvantages, there's all kinds of stuff. The biggest thing I want to talk about first is that the unfortunate news that Will Zalatoris has withdrawn. And not only did he withdraw from this, but he also withdrew from the President's Cup.
Yeah.
So he's experiencing some really, really bad back pains. I think there was a bunch of herniated discs. Don't
2
know
herniated discs. Yeah.
yikes. So that's clearly not good to begin with, but especially when you're a PGA Tour golfer. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, we do not get to see one of the top golfers this weekend. So it is only going to be 29 people. Thoughts or early thoughts going into the Tour Championship with Scotty leading and some people right behind him.
Yeah, I mean, again, this plays into, earning that top 30. Will Zalatoris was sitting on third place, second place, fourth place, whatever it was,
Third
where
place.
that's going to be a lot of money, for him. But, because he has to withdraw, he drops down to 30th, but he gets that 30th place money from what I know. So, but he earned that. So, call it guaranteed money, whatever you want. He still got to the point to where he had to earn that spot. Now, get well soon, absolutely. He said, he's also withdrawn from the President's Cup team, which is tough. I still expect a blowout. I mean, I don't think that one's going to be close.
Well, and
Personally,
their biggest golfer is Cam Smith, and if
yeah,
everything is going the way that it's going, and he actually joins, like, they won't have him, and Hideki's, the second closest, and he's not having the best season, so, like, it's going to be a blowout in the President's Cup. But
which I'm all for.
oh
USA.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Um,
I hate the fact that we'll talk about it as it gets closer because it's still a month away or so, but I hate the fact that it's being disrupted by Live, but that's a conversation for another day. Continue.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think that it's great for Will as far as he still got that money or whatever. Um, Interested to see how some of these other guys play out. The big talk right now, I think, is the handicap system where, I'm torn because again, Scotty earned that number one spot. Scotty earned, based on the system how it is now, like he earned that -10. But, just like some of these, I think it was the US Amateur, like it was a match play.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know if match play is the best way to determine the best of the field. I get why they would do it, absolutely, but I don't know. What are your thoughts as far as like the handicap system?
I don't like it. Truthfully, I do not like it. I think that there should almost be like an award for getting to this point and being number one, because like or, like there should be some sort of incentive other than starting 10 under par. Like I
Yeah,
think that, like I almost you don't equate this to a major championship, but this is the championship, right? So I want it to be everybody's on an even playing field, regardless of what they've done in years prior, what they've done in tournaments prior, regardless of their world ranking. If they are a part of this top 30, if they have qualified for this championship, it's fair game from there. Everybody starts out even par, and the best man wins in that regard. I think that, and I'm not saying that to say, Scotty, sorry, like you got to figure it out yourself, but it's like
right.
give him an incentive for finishing, first, for, give the top, I forget, I think everybody, what, top 10 starts with some sort of advantage. Maybe it's a little less.
It goes 10 and then 8 through even. It skips 9.
Okay. So you take all of those and you give them some sort of incentive for being in that position. But beyond that, like we're playing golf here. I want Adam Scott to have just as good of an opportunity to win this tournament and to, be crowned champion or whatever as Scotty Scheffler has. I
Yeah.
know that there's the FedEx points that are considered, but like I don't think that Scotty should start 10 ahead of Adam Scott just because he got to where he's at. Like I think that this is golf. It's not like, you go into the Super Bowl, and I know that the Tour Championship is not the Super Bowl, regardless of what Live Golf wants to say, but you don't go into the Super Bowl with one team starting with 2 touchdowns. You go into the Super
Right.
Bowl equal footing, and whatever happens from there happens. So I hate it, but I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I don't know that it is the best solution to find out who the best golfer is. Um, I I think I could get on board with it a little bit more if it was like 5 under was the most, because we've seen multiple times this year where guys have come back from 7 strokes. I mean, now that's probably an anomaly, but it's still not 10 strokes. Like I like the incentive of being able to say like, hey, you earned this spot, we're going to give you, a couple under or whatever, because I don't know what the alternative would be. Because it's not like there's better tee times than another because you're banking on the weather as far as that goes, so I don't know that you could do it there. Um you're not going to make any like equipment changes as far as, Scotty gets, a driver that's longer, that's going to go farther. There's no incentive there that you could do. There's nothing with the ball. Um, they're not going to tell him he's got gimmies. So I think
Right.
if you're going to incentivize this, that is the only way to do it. Um, Now I'm with you. I think it should probably change a little bit. But I mean, I think I would be okay if they started at like 5 under, and maybe like the top 5 or the top 5 start at 5 under, the top 10 start at 5 under. That way there's not like a huge gap between, the Sahith Theegala, right? he's going to start at even. He's already 10 strokes back Scotty. Like that's
Yeah.
a lot. But I mean, again, he played his tail off all year, and he kind of earned it. So I definitely get where people are like, it needs to change. Um, but as far as the incentive portion, I don't know that you could change it to anything else.
Yeah, I think it would just be compensation, right? Like I think that there would
Yeah.
just be yeah, money from, getting some sort of bonus for finishing top 10 going into the final into the tour championship. Like I think that's the way, but from like an actual tournament perspective, like I don't see. I can get on board with your idea a little bit on the, maybe starting 5 under, because it's still an advantage, but it's not as big of an advantage as starting 10 under would be. Um, but still, like I just think that this should be determined just like, like the
Yeah.
past two events have been determined, where it's like you are the winner because you shot the best rounds of golf the entire weekend.
Right.
Like that should be the only way that we determine winners in golf tournaments. Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't be because you have a handicap and you get 2 extra strokes on the next guy. Like it should be because you put together the 4 best days. And I don't know. I just My biggest thing is like, why is this the only time that we have this concept? Like everything else
Right.
in golf is everybody starts on equal footing, whether you're the worst golfer in the world, that or not. Clearly, if you're the worst golfer in the world, you're not going to be on the PGA Tour event. But whether you are the bottom of the field and no one knows your name, or if you're Tiger Woods, you're getting the same opportunity to play the best golf and to win the tournament. And I can't get behind anything else or any other.
Yeah. I mean,
You know
maybe
what I mean?
maybe it should be exemptions, right? Like, you finish in the top 30, you're exempt for every tournament for the next 3 years. Or,
Right.
you know, maybe as far as that goes, maybe it's compensation, maybe it's exemptions. Um, I guess I didn't think of that right away, but that would make more of a difference, I think, than just the FedEx Cup, because you're gonna make that money being in the top 30. So it's just a matter of how much. So why not, make it to where you are gaining, I wasn't in the field of the Masters, last year, or I probably wasn't next year, but I
Right.
finished in the top 5, so now I can play the Masters for the next 3 years, or you know, whatever the case may be. I think apart from compensation, I think exemptions would be the way to go.
Yeah. I like the exemption thing too, because it's like you finally get, like, yeah, you fight your way into this and you're guaranteed everything. Like I think, I don't know how exemptions work directly, but I almost think like that's almost guaranteed anyways.
I think
Like
based
with
on how you
with
finish
yeah,
in majors, I think you're
or
right. Apart from that, I think you have to earn your way into the field, whether it's the qualifier or whether it's FedEx Cup points.
yeah. Yeah. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I just I want the advantages to not be related. So like that's perfectly fine with me. That and money are perfectly fine with me. But I cannot get behind Scotty starting 10 under. Like
Yeah.
I don't like that. It feels like it takes like yes, he earned it. I understand that to everybody, but like I don't know. I just can't get
But think
behind.
of the story that it's going to be, if it is the Gala that comes back and somehow wins because he went 18 under and the top guys only could go 5 or
Yeah,
6. Like that would be insane, and I
it
think,
would.
that makes for a better story rather than just, oh yeah, he won, like,
For sure.
congrats to him.
Oh,
Now,
if
again,
the
I don't know
likelihood
if
of
that's the
that
answer.
though, yeah, the likelihood of
Right.
that is so like it's so hard, because it's like the story would be amazing. That'd be the ultimate comeback story in golf, to like, to have that, to have no advantage or have a minimal advantage compared to the top guy and then all of a sudden win it. Like that's possible, and that's a great story, and I hope that that happens. But I just think like when you start in that advantage, if you play good enough golf, like you're gonna, the past 2 years, the guy that started number one won the tournament, and like that. that to me just makes it less interesting to tune into. Like I'll pay
Right.
attention, I'll watch some of it. Like it is a tour championship, it's the finale. Like we're wrapping up, we're putting a bow on another season, but it's just like this. I don't have the same feel as I do the past two events or a major championship, and I feel like this should rival the feel of a major championship final Sunday. Like,
Right.
but it just doesn't. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's something that should be considered, but I think like given kind of where it's at, like they're just gonna keep it moving with that. So
Yeah.
we'll see, and we'll see if I'm hoping for just the comeback story of the year, but yeah, we'll see. We'll recap it on next episode. So
I
any
think
other
this is the
thoughts?
one time that I would love carnage on the golf course.
Yeah,
You know, we've talked about it before. Like, I want to see the guys go 30 under, whatever. Um, but I think the more volatility that you have with this tournament specifically, the more fun that it's going to make it because, you know, who's to say Scotty doesn't make any birdies at all, which would blow
yeah.
my mind. But he stays at
Well,
10 under, and the guy that's in sixth or 14th comes back and, wipes everybody off the board. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think that's when I would like carnage is in a situation like this.
Yeah, well, that's possible. I mean, Scotty did not make the cut at St. Jude, so like,
It's true.
there's no cuts with this, but like he wasn't playing great golf. So if you shoot even par, like there's going to be somebody else that's coming around that can
Right.
easily take down 10 under. So we'll see. I'm hoping for something really interesting and a really good storyline to come out of this, but there's a big part of me that's like, all right, we'll be talking about tour champion Scotty Scheffler, which well deserved. He's played great golf this entire year. I just wish that he just put the cap on it with playing the best golf and winning the tournament, but
Yeah.
can't have it that way. So that's okay. Looking forward to it. We will be keeping in touch with that. And like I said, we'll recap that on the next episode.